welcome to Don't Stop Dreaming, a bucket list edition. My name is Jessie, and today's episode we are going to talk about planning and researching for your next bucket list item. So stay tuned as we get ready to learn some tips and tricks to achieving one of your bucket list goals. So, do you have something in mind that you want to achieve? Do you have a list that you've been looking at and saying, okay, there's so many things that I want to accomplish, like how do I make it happen? What do I need to do to even get it started? Let's talk about the first thing, pricing. How much does your bucket list item really cost? And when I say really cost, sometimes you may see one price and you're like, that's it, I can do it, I can afford it. But have you actually really thought it through and that you may possibly spend a little bit more than that price tag that you're looking at? And what I mean by that is a lot of the times things require maybe gas or transportation fees, things that kind of add up a little bit to get to that location or to do what you want to do. Another thing to consider is tips. There's been several occasions when I've planned to do a bucket list item and I go, oops, I totally forgot. I needed like $20 or $10 for a tip, or even more. Sometimes it requires visas. For example, if you're doing traveling, if you want to go to a certain location, there's some countries that require visas and other types of documentation that may cost you money. Especially right now, I'm learning that with COVID, sometimes some of these countries require COVID tests before you go to them. That costs money. It adds up. So make sure that whatever your bucket list item is, you're checking out at the extra little cost that it involves. So there are different things that you may need to consider before you really say, that's my final price. A lot of activities are so much fun, but they kind of add up a little bit. So make sure that you prepare and you're ready for the cost that your item may require to achieve. We talked about pricing and cost. So the second thing I want to talk about are deals. I am a bargain shopper. If you see my Dooney and Borg video, I'm all about getting them discounts, and I love being able to save a dime or two. So I really think that a lot of bucket list items actually probably have some way for you to get a discount in order to pay or achieve them. A lot of things may not cost money that may be on your list, but let's be honest, probably majority of the things that you want to accomplish may cost you some money. So I say before you go and you jump on and click on and say, yes, I am purchasing that thing or that activity, check to see if there's a deal. Every state, every country have different kinds of bargains. So see how you can save a buck or two by just researching. So here's a couple of spots that I've looked into that helped me to save money. First thing, good old Groupon. I think most people have heard about Groupon. If you haven't, it's a great website or platform app where you can find deals locally where they actually are a variety of deals from traveling to activities to food, lessons. It's just a whole spectrum of really great things that people can do locally. And so make sure you check on Groupon.com, and there you'll be able to see different deals. Not all deals last forever, but you know what? Give it a check. If you are planning to do something really cool on your bucket list, just check to see if there may be a deal on that list. I've done several activities through Groupon. One of them would be a manatee swim. I have always wanted to swim with manatees. I'm a huge animal lover, and I went on Groupon, and I have actually done 2 manatee swims with Groupon, and they were really cool experiences. I saved quite a bit of money. One of them was a private tour. I had 6 of my friends come, and it was just a great cheap way to go play with manatees and have kind of a private party situation, so we didn't have to worry about being with strangers. So check out Groupon. Another thing, this is focused on something here in Orlando, but I'm assuming that there may be organizations and other things in other states. So I'm just going to share with you this particular one if you are located in Orlando and you work in the hospitality industry. This is a card called HIA. It's The Florida Hospitality Industry Association. This card is a gem. I love this thing right here. I have been able to go and experience so many cool Orlando attractions just within the 4 years that I've lived here. You do need to work in the hospitality industry in order to purchase this membership. So that includes, you know, the theme parks, I believe restaurants. I think it includes hotels, all the different attraction locations, like if you're a museum or things like that. Anything that involves the hospitality industry, check it out and see if you qualify, because this card is only like $30 for a 1-year membership. I have been able to go on cruises, and when I say cruises, it's like a cool dolphin cruise for that day. I've been able to go to museums, and I've been having discounted dinners, and I've gone free mini golfing. I have done, let me think, or something. Oh, they have a really cool one. I've always wanted to do a hot air balloon, so I was able to accomplish that bucket list item through this card. It was $135 to go, and a lot of the times you can get in for free with this card. I'm going to show you one more time. You can get in for free with this card, and you can also get discounts for your friends. So a lot of the things that it says that you can have a discount for, it can be up to like 4 people or 3 people, and it's like 50% off, 25%, or even free. So if you live in Orlando, I highly suggest getting the HIA, Florida Hospitality Industry Association card. It is a saver. I have just saved so much money, and I've gone to do so many things because of that card. Another thing to consider is Viator.com. I like to travel internationally, and I feel, and even like locally, Viator will show you several different group deals and deals with activities that you don't really have to search so much like online to find. Like, you know, it's really hard when you're looking online. You want to make sure you go to a good trusting company. You want to make sure you're paying the best price, and that can be really overwhelming when you're trying to research something, because you're like, there are so many options. I'm stressing out, like, what do I, you know, which one do I pick? Viator.com will, you know, you give them in the search bar, you talk about your, not talk about, but you put in your city that you're interested in and your dates, and it'll give you a huge list of different organizations and deals and tours and activities and things like that that are in that city. So this is all over the world. And the thing is, with this Viator, it'll give you reviews so you can kind of read about the company, or if you want to learn a little bit more about that company, you can then, you know, research on their website. But they also they have a calendar where you can see if like where you want to go, what you want to do is available for the dates that you need. You know, it shows you the pricing, and I've used it. I trust this website. I think it's been great. I've done the big bus tours in Rome and in London. I have done, let me think, there was one I just thought of that I've done with them. That was, when I went to Iceland, I went to the Northern Lights, and I found the company that I went with, which I thought was a great company, great experience. I found them through Viator. So I would highly suggest checking that out. And there's so many more amazing websites and search engines to help you find a great deal without having to spend hours upon hours upon hours just trying to see if you can trust this website. With another thing with deals is that sometimes groups make a difference. You know, if you go with a group, check to see if what you're doing has a group discount. That may make your price a little lower, and not just that, but then you might have your friends with you and family so that you can enjoy the activity a little bit better, hopefully. So I'd say check it out. You know, I I book from a company. It's a tour company called Gate One Travel. And I have loved them. I thought they've been a great company, and they send out deals on their, like on an email subscription type thing. And I have actually decided to go on a few trips with them just because they have some really good deals for the prices. And I first discovered them on Groupon, and then I went directly with their website, and they let you pay monthly increments to pay for these nice, great, you know, guided tour trips. So check to see if there's a deal. Check to see if you can find some kind of bargain. The third thing we are going to talk about are seasons. Seasons play a major part in achieving a bucket list item. And when I'm talking about seasons, I'm talking about your good old summer, spring, winter, fall, but also peak season and non-peak season. And peak season, that means when everyone wants to come and participate in what the bucket list item is or in that location. Or a low season is when, other people don't really go. It's a kind of a quieter time. It's not as popular, whatever your item may be. So it really does play a major factor, because sometimes, let's talk about weather, for example, and temperatures. You don't want to go do something when it may be blistering hot and miserable. You're not going to enjoy it as much. Or when it's freezing and snowing and you're just like, I can't even think straight because right now I'm just worried about my fingers falling off because they're frozen. So also being aware of if it's like a hurricane season or there's twisters or droughts, that is going to play a major factor on a lot of bucket list items. And another thing to think about is with, like I said, the peak seasons and low seasons. Sometimes costs end up going up when it's a peak season because it's in demand. Everyone wants to go do what you're doing or go where you want to go during certain times of the year. So if you research when those peak seasons are, you can try to avoid them and go during a quieter time. But sometimes there's reasons why it's the quieter time. It could be because of that weather. It could be because of, what's going on in the country politically. There's just so many different things. When it comes to not just like traveling or activities, for example, I love animals. Like I mentioned before with the manatees, I got to go to South Africa and I found this killer deal during a low season. Hence why it was cheaper, because they were trying to get tourists still to come. But I went and did a shark cage excursion, and shark cages have always been like on the top of my bucket list item, especially with great whites. I want like Mama Jaws in my face. Well, obviously in a cage in my face. But so I thought it was a great time, and sadly I went during a time when it was the juveniles. The water was really muddy and dirty, so I didn't get to see the shark as clearly, and I didn't get to go as deep in the water because of that time of year. It was not an ideal time to go shark cage diving. And so sadly, I feel like I need to go again just because I didn't get the experience that I quite wanted because I went during an off season. And so just be aware that when you're researching, just check to see what season that this activity may be available in, if it's going to be smart to go during that time of year, or if it's just something that you may need to plan a little bit accordingly to weather or crowd control. So just research your season. The fourth thing to consider is availability. Not everything is available when you can conveniently do what you want to do with your bucket list item. And when I say that, I'm not trying to be harsh, but I'm just saying how it is. Availability can be tricky, especially right now with COVID and other things happening just in the world. It can be hard to find an opportunity available for you to sign up or to reserve or to do. So things are getting a little bit more limited now. So just when you're researching your bucket list item, just make sure it's available. And if it is available, make sure to book it in advance or to reserve it so that you can make sure that your spot is set so that you can really go and do what you want to do and have a blast. There's one activity, for example, I went to this incredible place. It's a wolf sanctuary, and it was really interesting because I figured it'd be busy, but I didn't know like how busy or how in demand it would be. When I looked it up online, they were booked for months. And I was like, oh man, I wanted to do something for my birthday. I was like, this isn't gonna work because my birthday's happening like in a few weeks, but I can't book anything until several months out. And so I should have planned better with that. But here's also another tip. Be prepared if something becomes available last minute. So if you really want to do something and you're pretty open, mentally prepare yourself, because if something becomes available the day of or the day before, that way you will be ready to jump on it and just go and do what you want to do. because sometimes those things happen. For example, that same location, the Shy Wolf Sanctuary, I kept looking online, and sometimes it's going to take time too to see if you can find these available spots that come out of the blue. But I kept like checking and checking because I really wanted to do it for my birthday. So when I looked, I found that there's availability like the day before. So like it was the evening of the day before they were available, and I was like, okay, this place is like 3 hours away. Like, can I make it happen? I really want to do it. And since I was okay and I was able to, with my life circumstances, to book it, I did. I took advantage of that. So I was able to book it, and literally the next day I went and I did the activity. And so, you know, if you can, keep looking at your bucket list items, see if there's availability that pops up. And if you are able, I'd say book it and go do it, because sometimes it may not be that easy again to get an available spot. So just stay cautious and aware that availability is a thing, especially now, like I said, it's limited. So just be ready for booking something just in case, you know, things pop up, or book in advance so that you don't have to stress about it when the time comes. The very last thing is to stay safe. You know, I feel like there's so many amazing ideas and things to accomplish in this world, and they're so exciting, and there's just so much in store and so much you can learn from. But I think there's a lot of things that we get really overly excited about, and we don't think it through, and we get a little caught in the dream, and we don't think about the safety aspect of it. So I just want to throw out this because I think it's important. Make sure that you are smart and you are using your common sense, and think through about what are the things that you need to be aware of when you go and participate in this activity. You know, I've mentioned traveling several times. You know, for example, I think there's certain places that I may not be as safe for me to go and travel alone. So I would want to make sure I'd go to places that I knew were a little safer, or like I would be prepared when I go to somewhere that I may know could be a little bit more dangerous than another location, whether it's bringing supplies just for my safety, whether it's just educating myself and reading about customs and traditions and even phrases that may come up wrong in that location. You know, so there's different ways to prepare yourself to stay safe. Another thing is, you know, if you are going to go to a adrenaline junkie type activity and you're just like so ready, you're like, let's do this, you know, just make sure like that the protocols are on top of it, and that like the company seems legit, and that they seem like they are concerned about your safety, and that they do things that will protect you. There's so many amazing companies out there, and there's so many amazing activities, but sometimes there's sketchy things, and you can tell when you get there, you're like, that's a little sketch. Just play it smart. You know, I think our safety is important. I think we can accomplish anything, but keep it legal, but keep it safe, you know, and have a blast doing it. Just protect yourself while you're trying to accomplish that item, and to research and check to see what you need to be aware of when you go and do that bucket list. I hope this video has helped somebody out there in the world that wants to accomplish their bucket list item. These are just things that I have learned through experience that I think could be helpful for anyone that may want to do something really amazing in their life and check it off. You know, just research, just look through things. Don't just jump the gun when you want to accomplish a goal. Unless it's something that you're already familiar with, it's a great opportunity, you know it's good, you know that this is the time to do it and you just need to jump on it, then do it. But I just hope that this helps you, that if you're considering something or you're debating about something, just research it, learn about it, plan it out just a little bit, just so that you are having the best opportunity that you can have without being disappointed or having some issues or anything. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope you go and accomplish every single dream that is on your list, and you get to live a good, fulfilling life and just have a blast. Thanks, guys. Bye. reason researching is really important is because you don't want to get scammed. There's so many people out there that just sadly aren't honest and they just want to take your money. So make sure that you're aware of where you're purchasing your ingredients, your activity, or whatever it is. Just be aware that you're avoiding any kind of scammy red flag type situation. Sometimes there's hidden fees. You may find a really great deal, and I was talking about checking out those deals. Go for it. But be aware that there are some deals where there are hidden costs that you're not aware of unless you research. For example, I went on a bargain airline. Bargain airlines are great if you are a light packer, if you don't really care about some delays here and there. Go for it. They really are great pricing. But a lot of times there's hidden fees or certain things that are a little bit stricter requirements than they are in some of the other airlines. Does seem like a lot of the main airlines are starting to do more bargain seats than they did before. So be aware that when you are purchasing a ticket, that you just look at the different factors into what ticket you're purchasing. And when I say that, I mean, like, for example, does your ticket include like a carry-on bag? Not just that, but how much weight can your carry-on bag be? I know certain countries and certain airlines have different weight requirements. I learned the hard way. I was going to Iceland and I had my carry-on bag, thought it was the weight that was typical, that I've traveled in other places. It was 10 pounds over their limit, and they were going to charge me $97 for my 10 extra pounds. And if I researched, I would have known that, my bag would have been overweight. And the reason I picked this airline was because it was cheaper. And I ended up having to finagle and try to figure out my weight. And I was so stressed out. And I could have just paid that extra money for another airline and had free checked bag. And anyways, just do your research in that sense, because bargains are great. I'm all about deals, but sometimes there's hidden fees that you need to research and be prepared for just in case. And a lot of times they'll tell you what they are. Just research, research, research.